Episode 214, Global from Asia. Today's podcast is brought to you by Aurelia Pay. I use them personally for sending money to my Chinese suppliers from Hong Kong. It's a cross-border payment solution between China, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia. So when I need to make a payment to a Chinese supplier, I just hop online to place the remittance, pay to the Aurelia Pay's Hong Kong-based bank account, and Aurelia Pay will settle RMB within the same business day. So check them out online at www.aureliapay.com, AURELIAPAY.com, or check them out linked in our show notes.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Okay, everybody, 214 shows in at Global from Asia. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I am here in Miami, Florida. My kids are bouncing in the hotel room next to me. I think Maggie's a future podcaster. Definitely. I always try to stick a little bit of fun stuff in here. I'm here for our China business workshop happening this next couple of days. Of course, it will be over by the time you are listening. But we try to do these offline events and get together some listeners and people on the audience and engage with them. So I'm excited for this one. I'm preparing for it for a while. Of course, the real reason I'm in Florida is family, and a couple of years then my parents met my kids and my Maggie for the first time. But that's the hardest part about doing business globally, internationally in Asia, is that crazy stuff is my kids don't speak much English, and it's kind of freaking my parents out. It's hard to explain on a radio show. So let's just move forward. This week's show, we have a 2-for-1. Two guests together. It's three of us on the mic: Will Tjernlund, Danny McMillan, and I. And we're talking about the future of Amazon in 2018 and e-commerce internationally, with some fun tidbits and inputs on that. And of course, we're also here to start sharing and promoting the Cross-Border Summit 2018, the third annual here for Global from Asia, and it's April 20th and 21st. So just like this China Business Workshop, one way that supports the show is our offline events. I know like Toby is a listener, really long-time listener, and he's wants to make it out there. I know it's a big ask to come out to China if you're in America and other things, but it's one way that you can meet us, meet me, meet some of these amazing guests on the show, and we try to make it as interactive as possible too. Miles will be there too. He's so excited. Well, you can always get the show notes of what we talk about at globalfromasia.com/episode 214. And without further ado, let's jump into the show. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in to our Global from Asia podcast. This is going to be a very engaging one. We have two amazing people that have both been on the show separately in the past, Danny McMillan and Will Tjernlund. Thanks guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Sure. It's a pleasure. And today we're going to be talking about Amazon FBA trends in this new year, 2018. You'll, of course, both be some of our top speakers at this upcoming Cross-Border Summit in April 20 and 21. And for those that don't know you guys, maybe we'll catch you up a little bit, starting with Danny McMillan. You're in London right now, and you're a seller yourself for many years. And I always think of you also you're in the music business for quite some time, and you're also doing a podcast and content at Seller Sessions. So is that about right, Danny? You want to add something for me?
Yeah, basically that's it. I used to be in the music industry many moons ago. I started selling on Amazon in 2015, and the host of Seller Sessions, yeah.
Cool. And then Will Tjernlund, another great seller, and we've gotten to know each other over the years now, and previously on the show too. And you're doing Go consulting, right? And
Yeah. So I'm doing a couple different things. I started selling on Amazon full-time in 2013. From there, went on to start Go Consulting, where we help brands and manufacturers sell more products on Amazon. And my kind of pet side project I've started the last couple of months is running a brand called Bad Boy that sells like kickboxing and MMA equipment. So I've been selling on Amazon recently and kind of getting back into the groove of that instead of just the consulting side.
Nice. Yeah, it's always keeps us sharp in the game. Mm-hmm. I call it the gladiators of being a seller in the arena here. So today's show, I think we're going to have you guys jumping in when you see you can answer, and we'll go through some items. I titled it the Amazon FBA trends for 2018. We're still early on in February, and the show will be scheduled in the next couple of weeks, so we'll get it out right away. So I first want to start. It seems like what the elephant in the room is Amazon. I always talk on my show and to my friends. I remember before Amazon was even a significant percentage of my business was mostly eBay and web store sales back when I was starting in 04 and 05. But now it seems like, what is it, the 80%? Is that what is still the majority revenue for most international e-commerce markets? Of course, there's some others like China or Australia and others, but it seems like it's going to still be the main source of income for revenue of sellers.
Yeah, who do you want to go first? Go on, Will, you go first.
I think so. I still see Amazon as the main focus. It's interesting, even talking to the companies I work with. Some of these are already in Target and Walmart stores and in all sorts of different brick and mortar stores, and still Amazon is the majority of their focus. Every once in a while, they'll ask us about different countries and different other marketplaces, but majority of their sales, majority of the focus, everyone still is on Amazon. They still see it growing. The stock keeps going crazy, and so all the hype kind of keeps building on itself. It's a big snowball rolling down the hill.
Yep, seems unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that big debate selling on Amazon, and then it's like, okay, then you've got to come off Amazon and go down all these different channels. Now, if you look at recent data, I think it was Casey Goss from Viral Launch, they've got thousands of customers basically that work with them. And he said he can't think of any of the customers that he works with, even the ones that are doing over 10 million a year, have managed to shift that balance of revenue off of Amazon, because a lot of people say they get suspended. They go, right, I've had enough of Amazon now. I'm going to build this channel off of Amazon. And they invest all this time, all these resources, but never seem to get anywhere near the level of revenue that's generated on Amazon. So it's not like it's impossible, but I think in this day and age, I think if you're going to sell off Amazon, you want to have products that's, that's consumable, so you can order on a regular basis, so you're not keep paying for that first sale every time in terms of your acquisition cost. Ideally, it's not on Amazon, and if it is, it's cheaper than Amazon, and you've already built a moat around it. And I think that's one of the protective ways. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think most people will see that 80% or so of their revenue, if not more, is on Amazon, and then the other 20% made up across 10 or 15 platforms. That's not everyone, but I think if you sum down 1,000 people and ask them the same questions, you'll probably get close to that.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind is if you do want to capitalize on those other marketplaces out there, that you're going to want to be niche specific and marketplace specific. So you might notice there's a gap in the market for charcoal grills on Walmart.com, or you might notice that there's not enough silicone baking sheets on Jet.com, or Wish.com is really missing more expensive items. And so you find a very specific niche in a specific marketplace where you can really exploit it, and you can actually get a decent amount of sales since no one's gotten there yet. But for the most part, yeah, I think Amazon's tried and true, has the majority of the traffic, the most trust, and the quickest to convert your customers into actual sales.
Yeah, I think probably listeners are agreeing and nodding their heads here, but at the same time, Amazon seems to know this too, so they don't seem to really. They've been getting much, I'd say, stricter. Would you say on sellers? It seems very clear they're tightening up. I think years ago they were really trying to get more sellers on the platform. I guess they feel like they have enough now, and it's just going to probably get harder for sellers getting on or.
I just talked to two sellers in this last week who are both just launching their first product, and both are having a little bit more trouble getting through the approval process, getting everything kind of set up correctly, because Amazon's making them jump through so many more hoops. And so I think, Amazon realizes now we have enough SKUs. We have enough silicone baking sheets, silicone gloves. We have enough whatever yoga mats. It'd be best if we had 40 yoga mats to choose from instead of 4,000. And so I think they're just going to make it stricter and stricter. And I wouldn't be surprised if I heard in the future that Amazon was going to significantly increase the monthly fee to be a member. Where if they started charging $1,000 a month to be a pro seller, it would kick a ton of people out of the market, and majority of people who are selling a quality product at a quality price wouldn't really be affected and would kind of just go along their daily business. And so something like that's not a variable increase, but just kind of like a static increase to the fees would be something that I would see coming down that kind of pipeline in the near future.
I definitely agree with that. I'd also say that compliance makes a big thing as well. You know, with terms of gating, the terms of having a trademark, brand registry 2.0, I think there's a moat being built around it so that they're trying to retain only the top end sellers with high level quality of products, if that makes sense. Because you've seen that more and more regulations are coming into play and the squeeze is happening on, say, the people with a smaller amount of cash flow to work with. So obviously that moves those people outside of the game, but it retains the people that are obviously established themselves as a business. Because if you think the gold rush of a few years ago, as people would call it, people weren't even getting inspections and they're ramming stuff straight from factory to Amazon with no care involved. So obviously a lot of that's changed now, and I think the compliance is starting to really step up. And I agree with Will with the fees as well. But there's one thing I don't agree with is they're offering this new service which works out $42,000 a year to get your own seller support rep. I mean, you've got to be mad to take that on. But that's a story for another day. So having your own account manager. But I think there's another point to take into consideration here is with the platform as well as you get more and more relevant through PPC, and the fact that more and more people are going after the same few positions. Obviously, that's having a knock-on effect for people to play in the game in terms of the cost per click, and it's rising in a lot of the categories.
Got it. Yeah, I like it though. It's true. There's getting more options with paid ads, and you can be more focused and specific. So there's maybe some positives to this.
Indeed.
Great.
Well, I think one more quick positive too is that Amazon's just forcing all these other marketplaces to step their game up. And so I've had like 3 or 4 calls in the last couple of weeks with customer service reps and managers over at eBay. And they're going way out of their way to make sure that they kind of roll out the red carpet for me, make my life as easy as possible, help me upload a couple thousand SKUs, all that types of stuff. And you can tell that they wouldn't probably be doing all that stuff and going above and beyond if I wasn't doing so well on Amazon and if Amazon wasn't such a big competitor to theirs. And so they're saying, we want to slice this pie too. What can we do to attract sellers? And so if you're selling in any sort of volume, these third-party marketplaces actually may go out of their way to kind of like cut fees and do things that they normally wouldn't do for other people. So that's one thing to think about when you're thinking about other marketplaces.
All right. Thanks, guys. And yeah, Will, you're talking about some new sellers launching products. And I've talked to other sellers and consultants and experts, and it seems like with the launch, it seems like everything is getting restricted and like discouraged or black or gray anyway. But I think what sellers are saying that I talked to is like, well, you just got to basically, there's so many regulations and rules now. You kind of got to break the rules or bend the rules a little bit to stick out, especially with a launch. How do you guys feel on that?
Well, I mean, the product launch thing has been over and over in the Facebook groups recently. And just to break a few things out here, like you've got grey, you've got black, and then you've got compliance, so you've got TOS, but is it in TOS? Is it grey? Is it this, that, and the other? Let's break them down, right? You can do discount codes, which you can determine the discount. So if you want to give something away at 90%, you can. There's no law against you running Facebook ads, unless you start making false claims, which some people may do, One of the things that you've got to look at is that there's a storefront URL that people use to help with ranking. Now, that could be considered as manipulation, but Amazon has left that path open. People do it every day. All the launch, not all, but a lot of the launch companies use the same methods as well. Now, these launch companies are still here, so at this moment in time, there's a lot of talk of, well, this is grey hat, this is black hat. Let me give an example where I had many conversations with people. Maybe they got suspended, or they go, well, this is black hat, this is grey hat, etc., etc. So if I was to break it down, if you run in ads and like with 90% off, like Facebook ads, there are times I've seen people who will send them to a landing page and they're using Amazon logo in the image, they're using bestseller badge, and they're using 5 stars. That's against the rules, yeah? And then they're also putting in their false claims. Now, the other thing I've seen people do, and Amazon sign up to these funnels, is that people are asking for a review at the same time. So they've got a review funnel set up as well. So what happens is you get a cross-pollination of stories are being told, of saying, oh, I got suspended for this reason. And then when you really start to dig deep into it, you realize that what they're doing discounts, they're asking for reviews, they're using the logos and stuff that they shouldn't, that are not been provided outside of the affiliates program, whereas there's official Amazon logo. They're using bestseller badge when they don't have it. They're using 5 stars when they don't have 5 stars. All of these things start to come into play. So where we're at the moment is Amazon is always going to be changing and updating their rules. One day they might shut the loop off in terms of sending external traffic and using the storefront URL, or using promo discount codes with, limiting them to 50 or 60% off, and they'll introduce new features. But as it stands at the moment, there's no law against Facebook ads. There's no stipulation of law against a storefront URL, because all the promo services are using it. And there's no limitation on whether these are group codes or singular codes either. But I can tell you for sure that a lot of the suspension companies I talk to, when they talk about suspension for Facebook ads, it's normally through review manipulation.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think Danny's story is kind of a story as old as time in the Amazon communities, where people get suspended for something, say they did nothing wrong. You start asking more and more questions, and then you kind of get to the root of the problem pretty quickly. And so I always just tell people, as long as you're not doing anything maliciously or like misleading the customer for your gain, then you more times than not, you're in the clear with Amazon. So as long as you don't try to lie to a customer or try to trick them, you're in the good. So if you try to put like a badge on your t-shirt that says picture, even though it says no badges, and your badge says 100% cotton and your t-shirt's 100% cotton, you're not really hurting the customer. You're not really doing anything malicious to the customer. Amazon doesn't really care. They're probably not going to suspend you for, even though it's against the terms of service, to put badges in your photos.
Danny, you have any last parts for this on launch? Or?
No, I think what you've got to be careful of is that there's the truth. There's what Amazon knows, and then there's the Facebook truth. And so Facebook can be an echo chamber where people are hearing certain things and then they repeat what they heard. Like the latest one is that storefront URLs and these ranking services are not working anymore. And then you'll go, well, why? And they said, well, I tried it on this product, not naming it, but they tried it on a product. And then they tried it again with another product 3 months later. But what they don't say to you is, how many coupon codes did they give away? How many coupon codes did they need to give away? What was the discount codes? Did they make sure that their URLs were set up correctly? They miss all the bits in between. Does that make sense? It's not until you start to dig in and you go, okay, well, that makes sense because you decided not to do a 90% off. You couldn't distribute that many codes because you decided to do 30 to save money. By saving money, people didn't find your deal valuable. Therefore, you didn't distribute enough codes to do the ranking. Therefore, it would take you longer to rank over that period of time, So, and I think what else people do is that they may have a budget in mind. They'll give away a certain amount of units. And when it doesn't stick, then they blame the ranking for not sticking, even though they got there to position wherever they did on page 1. The problem is with the ranking thing is you can get somewhere there to page 1 with the right amount of elbow grease and using the right amount of promos, etc., as people have done over and over again. But what you can't guarantee is that the Amazon community of buyers will actually vote well. It get to page 1 and it doesn't stick. So, and that could be down to your price. It could be down to your images. It could be that people don't like the product. There's so many different variables, but I think it's very easy to say that, oh, right, that doesn't work or that's against TOS. But you need to understand the full picture. before them kind of comments can be conclusive.
Yeah, this is really, you guys are great getting into the details and nitty gritty here, and it's important. And but we still got to put up with it, right? I mean, we were at a conference, the Cross Border Matchmaker, in October. Will was also there. I don't know if he remembers this part, but one of the sellers, Jerry Gunn, he's the current owner of Amazon Tracker, and he's got one of the biggest Amazon seller companies in probably the world. And he it was a panel, and someone asked him if it's worth having a Shopify or a shopping cart, or he said no. He kind of shocked the room because there was a lot of back and forth with that question. But he says he's all in on Amazon.
Especially at the scale he's at. Say, I'll just make up a number. I have no idea how much he does in sales, but say he's doing $100 million in sales. Well, that Shopify store has to do like $15-20 million in revenue for it to be worth his time. And so if he launches a Shopify store and hires all these people and trains all these people, and it does $2 million in revenue in the first year, it's almost considered a failure. And it's like, let's just stop doing that and just focus on Amazon from here on out. So yeah, it's interesting, depending on where you are in your business and how your business is set up, what marketplace kind of makes sense to different people for different reasons.
True. Yeah, especially in a lot of, people would ask me about Chinese sellers, and I think maybe any seller, but scale is always the most important to, get as big and as fast as possible. So they always kind of say Westerners or international sellers always want to diversify and get all complicated. And I think Jerry and a lot of other Chinese sellers would just say they're focusing on revenue and volume.
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining that he's not selling everything off of one Seller Central account, and that maybe they've got a number of different businesses with different brands that are under different names. I don't know. I mean, it seems that like he's not putting all these eggs in one basket, but if he's one of the biggest sellers on Amazon, maybe he knows something that we don't know for diversifying risk,
True, that is true. I maybe we'll let listeners think if he has multiple accounts or not, and move forward.
I'm not saying he should, but it's not against Amazon rules. You can apply for a secondary account as long as it's separate brands, and if you do the paperwork right and you do it all in the right manner, there are ways of doing it. Will, you've done it, haven't you? You've separated brands off. You sold brands as well.
Yeah, I got different Amazon accounts, and also I sign in our office between the different employees, the 6 of us, and the different companies we manage. We might sign in and out of 20 different Amazon accounts on each computer each day. And so if Amazon was real touchy about that, we would have been flagged a million times over.
Yeah, makes sense. So, toward bringing up China, and of course, one big one in China is Alibaba. And I know even Will's talked in previous podcasts and other presentations a lot about, even buying off Taobao. People talk about AliExpress. I think probably the top biggest e-commerce companies in the world are Amazon and Alibaba. When a lot of people don't know all these different parts of Alibaba, but it's more than just the B2B directory. So I feel like they're coming closer and closer on each other's turfs. Not sure if even Will in your podcast on this show, you were talking about Dragon Boat, and Amazon's almost doing shipping direct now from China. So I feel like these two guys are getting closer to closer.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then they're going to sit there and probably steal ideas from each other. And so Amazon for sure has seen the success of like Alipay, and will be wanting to get into that kind of market soon. And vice versa, Alibaba has got to be seeing stuff that Amazon's doing, where they got the stores where they have no checkout line or anything like that. And Alibaba is probably opening their own version of 7-Eleven, probably in China soon enough, And so they're sitting there, and it's like they're kind of almost working together at this point, where they can see how one tests out in one marketplace and then kind of copy each other's ideas. One selling products at a much higher price. One company's doing less retail price but higher volume, and so they kind of like are almost kind of work together and work separately at the same time. It's very interesting. It's kind of like the relationship between Lyft and Uber. If you look into that, and like Uber owns 20% of DD, DD owns 20% of Lyft. All those companies seem like they're competitors, but they all kind of own each other and they all kind of work together. It's kind of a bizarre, they're both trying to kind of work, make the future go in one direction. And so it's interesting to see them as a competitor, but like as a head-to-head direct competitor, I don't know if that's going to be anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a long ways to bridge these two markets.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Danny's, I know Will follows this a lot with Taobao and everything.
I think Will's well on top of that one. I've not got much to put in on that one.
Sure. No, it's fine. So appreciate you guys' time. This has been already really sparking my interest. We're getting towards the end. I think one of the last main questions that we talk about is, third-party sellers' future. I think these marketplaces, there's always this kind of like push-pull of hate between the two. Do you, they always need sellers, right? Some people are always afraid of it, or there's, people think it's just big brands only now, or Amazon's basics, or...
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a room for sellers. There's especially always going to be room for innovative sellers, because it seems like the innovative sellers are always kind of there in the niche before anyone else. It's going to take a while for some of these big multinational corporations or even Amazon basics themselves to get into certain markets. And so you can see kind of like the innovative person could be in there right away for the new DJI drone case and be flooding the market with a bunch of different types of cases with different logos and patterns on them way before any big corporation can make all those decisions and stuff. So there's always going to be a room for like the scrappy third-party seller. They're always going to be around there. It's just going to be, you're going to have to be more creative and kind of have a better idea of sourcing from this point forward. And having boots on the ground like Mike does in China is kind of a huge advantage if you're sitting there trying to launch products and kind of quickly jump on trends.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Will. I think all what's happened is that as the platforms matured as well, when we got into it, there was less compliancy and red tape, etc. But then obviously Amazon's has grown and worked out some of these issues they have to deal with, because obviously they have to keep off bad people off the platform as well as looking after good people. But sometimes, with Amazon, the way they operate their suspension policies, they shoot first and ask questions later. You can get caught up in that. But I think what they've also done when they are tightening up these regulations, they are making it better for the sellers that are already on the platform, if that makes sense. So I don't think there's a complete shutout for new sellers, but can you start with $500 like you used to be able to at one point? Not really if you want it to replace your income. I think what's happening now is the platform's got more sophisticated. You have to put a bit more money into it, but see it as a positive as well, because if you're trying to compete on the platform, you don't want to compete with this large pool in an area that you're in. If you can reduce that pool, that's only going to benefit you. Everyone needs competition at the end of the day. But if you're willing to jump through somebody's hoops and complete the paperwork and play the game at a slightly higher level, then it's only going to benefit you long term. And it also, it forces you to do it. It makes you think about the kind of products that you do sell, because you can't get away with the products that some people used to sell before. You need to make sure that you've got high quality products in order to survive. And that's not a bad thing.
Very good, guys. This is great. I think, stay motivated if you're listening. There's still room for, I think, generally newbies. You gotta be, like innovative, just like any market or any business. The earlier you get in, the better normally, but there's still chances. So don't get too discouraged, listeners. And so now let's talk about some fun stuff. We've been planning this for quite some time now, and we're having a cross-border summit, our third annual, and we have both you guys coming to share it. And it's a 2-day, full-day conference, 20th and 21st, and we worked out a bonus half-day VIP mastermind session the afternoon before on the 19th that some of the speakers, which you two and also Anthony Lee and Brian Johnson will be helping out with. So, Danny, you want to catch some people up on that?
Yeah. So basically, we got the idea from because me and Will, we got our own agency. So we got Anthony on there as well, and Memel Bekvar. And so we tend to do quite a lot of speaking work around the world. And one of the things we've seen, which works quite well, is that the mastermind thing, which is almost like speed dating, where you've got multiple tables. So a lot of people want to get involved with masterminds, but don't always have the budgets to pay big bucks for these very large ones that may cost you 25 grand a piece and stuff. So what we're trying to do is trying to put knowledge in the hands of people without all the fluff, if you like, around it. Because basically you can go into the room, you can have multiple people to a table, and then you rotate those tables. At the end of the day, people want to come and get solid information and get their questions answered. And it's an affordable way of doing this without maybe paying for an independent mastermind. It's like you can come to the event and you can network and do all these different things, but you can also attend a half-day mastermind where you can get a lot of the information you would do on a 2-day mastermind, or if you went to a one on a desert island. Some people would do them in places like Bali. So for me, it's about getting the right information to the hands of the seller of all different sizes. So there's no one's been excluded.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I mean, it'll be both your guys' first time at this summit, so I'm really excited to have you. And I think this mastermind we're adding with you guys this year is special but it's continuing what we're trying to do. Is we don't want to be the biggest conference, like, as far as quantity of people, but we actually like the whole affordability as well as ability to also get to know the speakers, get to know the other attendees, and really get to make some relationships with each other. So I'm excited for that. Anybody listening, we'd love to talk to you about it. Talk to me. We have it at crossbordersummit.com/2018 for 2018 with the full details. And that's it for that part. Our little plug for this show, and supports what we're doing here at Global from Asia and everybody else. And so, Danny, how can people find you? Seller Sessions is the best place?
Yeah, they can reach me at sellersessions.com. If they want to drop me an email and ask any questions, it's danny@sellersessions.com.
Very cool. And Will, what is the best place people can find you online?
Best place to find me is just email me. My name, William Tjernlund @gmail.com. I'm on all the social medias too. Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions. If you have any questions about the Cross-Border Matchmaking Summit or Shenzhen or anything like that, yeah, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for coming on and sharing. It's going to be an exciting year, 2018.
Indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much, Danny and Will, for coming on again. Both have been amazing guests in previous episodes here at Global from Asia. And you know what? I don't know next time I'll be in America, to be very honest with you. It's a family really reason, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's been a couple of years since the last time I was here. I think it's gonna be even longer this next time, to be frank. It's I guess that's why I started Global from Asia. That's why I moved there, and never thought I'd be there 10 years, but still think I'll be here another 10 years. Some people say you can live there for the rest of your life. I'm like, are you going to live where you are for the rest of your life? I think it takes some courage to move outside of your hometown, your home country, and I respect anybody that's able to do that. And longer it is challenging. I'm going to just say goodbye to my parents, and things like that. That's the hardest part. I wish there was teleporting. When is that going to get invented? Or faster planes or something. But anyways, I will be with you guys next week. Still be on the road in America and trying to connect with some listeners and business people and promoting this Cross-Border Summit coming up April 20th and 21st. crossbordersummit.com/2018. And I am going to go take a little swim in a pool with the kids. I think de-stress a little bit. Thanks again for listening. Thanks again for your support and telling your friends, leaving reviews, saying how much this has helped you. I met actually some people that watched the video blogs, and he wrote me some amazing feedback. He said it gave him the courage to come out to China, gave him the courage to do business, online and things like that. And it just totally makes me feel amazing. So hope that's helping you guys out. And I hope we can work together in the future in a business relationship. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.